Welcome, 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 everybody, to this week's podcast. And this week, I am joined by the beautiful Lilanthe, who I will, as always, let her introduce herself in just a second. But we are going to be talking all things yoga today. And we are right in the middle of life, aren't we,
Oh,
Jolanthe, at the
yes.
moment? So, Jolanthe has a young toddler. Well, not toddling yet. Six. How old's Daisy?
She's like a baby toddler.
A baby
She is
toddler.
she's 15 months, but she's
Oh, okay,
walking
she is.
very well. She's tiny. So
Oh,
she looks like a baby, but she is a toddler.
oh,
Yeah.
that's so cute. But with all the joys of nursery, the bugs, so,
Mm,
if we were just saying that you have a bit of a sore throat, thank you for being here, even with the sore throat. If you need to cough, cough. This is not the place to be perfect. This is the place to be human and
yes.
real. So we're up for all of that. But before we get into our topic of conversation, do you want to just introduce yourselves?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about who you are
Yes,
and
thank you,
why you're here
Nikki.
today.
So I'm Jolanthe de Koning. It's a Dutch name. I'm Dutch originally, but I've lived in England for a very long time. Some kind of English-ish now.
Yeah.
My main focus in work is yoga. So I'm a yoga
Mm,
teacher. I've been doing it for ages and ages, and I love it. It has saved me several times in my life, I would say. It's kind of
mm,
it's like a friend that's always been been my companion through different points of my life. So that's what I'm doing. Of course, like you mentioned, I'm a mum. I've got a 4-year-old and a 15-month-old. So I'm right in the middle of the jungle.
yes. In that messy, does
Yes.
this ever end
I'm in the kind
phase?
of, yeah, constantly quite tired and ill. But
Yes.
that's beside the point. So that's me. I have a sports science degree. My background is all sports sciencey. I love the research and sciencey stuff. But I realized that when I was in academia, I worked there for a bit as well. I realized it wasn't for me.
Mm,
Several reasons. I didn't like the egos in
mm,
academia. And also, I want to have direct contact with people and direct effects on
mm,
people. So when I teach a fitness class or a yoga class, I can see that effect I'm having. So I can
mm.
see their sweaty, happy, contented faces. And I'm like, I've made the world a little bit better, one person at a time.
Yeah.
Um, and I didn't get that from academia. So that's why this is the path I've chosen.
Nice. So, are you willing to share with us? You said that yoga saved you a couple of times. Are you willing to
Mm.
share what those couple of times looked like?
Yeah, sure. I think it's like at least 3 times. So first, I found yoga first when I was a teenager,
Mhm.
about 15, 16. And of course, anyone listening to this, if you've got teenage children, you'll probably recognize that the stresses are high.
Mm,
So when I was just drowning in social anxieties and academic stress, yoga was amazing for me. And I
mm.
often did yoga in like a group of adults. So actually,
Okay.
you don't have to hang out with all your annoying teenage friends. I was in an
Mm,
adult environment. And then I forgot it for a bit. And when I was doing my PhD, I was again drowning in stress. I was very close to a burnout.
mm,
And I don't know if you know the feeling, but you know when you just become one big head, you're
mm,
disconnected from your body. And I
mm,
was just in my head with the reading and the research and all that stuff. And I found the yoga through a yoga app, started doing it daily again. And it really helped connect me to my sense of self, my body, calm my nervous system, as we'll talk about later. So at that point, when I was really going to have a breakdown at the end of my PhD, that saved me. Um, and then moving on, so after that, very soon after my PhD, I did my yoga teacher training and I
mhm.
started teaching and I started practicing regularly every day. And I was in this wonderful yoga zone,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
blissed out. And then we had our first baby.
Mhm.
And as the usual people say, life, oh, we're just going to do everything that we've done before when we have a baby. Nothing's going to change.
Yeah, change.
No. And it was a hard shock.
Yeah.
And so for the first 7 months, I felt I couldn't get back to my yoga practice because our
Mm,
baby was one of those contact nappers. So there wasn't a minute in the day that I was away from our baby.
mm,
Um, And so for the first 7 months, that carried on, and I had no yoga practice, and I really delved deep down into postnatal depression.
Mm.
It was really not nice. The thoughts I was having, the way I was acting. Um,
Yeah.
and the turning point then was when we taught our baby how to nap in his cot, required a bit of sleep training,
Yeah.
and I got my yoga practice back, and it was like the clouds parted.
Mm.
I just I reconnected with my sense of self again, which I'd completely forgotten.
Mm.
And just, yeah, all again, the nervous system regulation and all of that calmness, because I'd become really anxious and really almost bitchy and catty and reactive and roar.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the postnatal depression was definitely one that again was solved by yoga and just having
Yeah.
some time for myself.
And I think that is the key, isn't it? I speak to so many women, especially mums, but this happens for most of the women I speak to. They're like, "Oh, I can't put myself first. I'll be selfish."
Mm.
And I was actually only talking to someone about coaching someone on this yesterday, and I was like, okay, we were talking about walking. She just wanted to walk on her own without her kids.
Yes.
She said, but that's really selfish. I'm like, okay, so if you don't do that, how do you feel? And she's like, well, I'm frustrated. And I was like, how does that show up as a mum? She said, well, I'm snapping at my kids, I'm irritable, I'm telling them to leave me alone for a minute. And I was like, so how is it if you take that like half an hour or even just 10 minutes out, isn't it more selfish to actually keep away the beautiful, calm, like mum or partner or friend? I think that's more
Absolutely.
selfish. I think it's more
Yes.
selfish not giving our best self to
Yeah.
people. The
Yeah.
yeah,
It's not selfish because it's not done with a self-interest in mind, but it's silly. I would say it's a mistake that you don't realize you're making,
yes,
isn't it? It's like not the best path.
yeah,
Definitely. I think if you get that self-regulation time and you can show up in a calm, regulated way,
yeah,
that's the best example you can give your children.
yeah,
And I often, so when I go for runs as well now and then, I do a jog,
mm,
a very
yeah,
easy jog. And I will say to our eldest, I'll say, Mummy's going to go for a jog.
yeah,
It makes Mummy really happy to go for a jog. I'll come back so happy.
yeah,
I'm always talking to him about that. And then
yeah,
often he'll be like, yeah, Mummy, just go for your jog. Go. It'll
yeah,
make you happy. Go, go, go
yeah,
jog.
yeah. Because I think that is the bit. Our happiness is the biggest gift I think we can give our children.
Yes.
They just want a carer that's content.
Yeah, and I
And
think, oh, especially because I'm in the phase with a 4-year-old, and
yeah,
emotional regulation is the word of the house at the moment.
yeah,
We're it's so helpful if we are regulated, and
uh,
then because our 4-year-old or and maybe teenagers as well for other people, their emotions are mad and they don't know
yeah,
how to regulate them. So you need to be able to be regulated
yeah,
to be able to be the buffer to handle all the craziness from the developing children
yeah,
and
yeah,
to show the example.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly that. Because the child hasn't got the cognitive ability to
No.
rationalize.
Yeah.
As adults, we do, and yet we try and get our child to change, be it teenager or toddler.
Mm.
It seems easier for them to change because then we don't have to do the work on
Work.
ourselves. But
Yes.
actually, it's impossible. And then you then become the toddler or the teenager. But
Mm.
as an adult, we can learn how to regulate because we've got the cognitive ability, and yet very few of us learn that lesson. Like it's a skill.
Yeah, it
Whether you
is.
whether you learn it through coaching, whether you learn it through yoga, whether you learn it through running, like it doesn't really matter what your go-to is. Giving yourself permission to regulate yourself, I
Yeah.
think is I don't think it's just helpful. I think it's essential. Like I think
Yes,
it's if you want a
absolutely.
calm house,
If
it's
you want to
essential.
have a good relationship with your romantic partner,
Yeah,
with your children, if you want to be the best example, yeah, you need to have that reflective time, whatever that is. If it's a coaching session, if it's a yoga session, if it's a long walk in nature,
yeah,
um, yeah, you need to. I guess it's self-awareness. I guess we're talking
mm,
about.
yeah,
Whatever practice gives you self-awareness when you
yes,
can notice, oh, I'm starting to feel really angry right now. What
yeah,
am I going to do? Take a deep breath or am I going to shout?
yeah. Yeah, it's that
Yes.
it's interrupting yourself, isn't it? And making
Yeah.
that choice, that
Yeah.
conscious choice.
Yeah.
And what you said, I really love that whole disconnect from the mind and body, because a lot of what I do with my clients is thought work.
Mm.
And then it's okay if it's not appropriate to change the emotion, let's learn how to sit with the emotion. And so it is surprising, isn't it, how many people are disconnected from their body
Yeah.
and from their mind, and the impact that that has on us. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that connection?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And well, first of all, I want to say the actual word yoga means union. It's union of
Oh,
body and mind. That's the
oh, I
kind
didn't
of
know that.
purpose of it. Yes, it's the purpose isn't to get really flexible, to put your leg behind your head and make a
Oh,
cool
okay.
Instagram shot.
Yeah.
It's union of body, mind, spirit kind of thing, and union with the
Oh,
universe if you go a bit further than that.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, and I think daily life is now it's structured in a way that's quite unnatural for us, isn't it? You
Mm,
know, we're thinking with our kind of intellectual brain almost the whole day, and
yeah.
we're not really designed to do that.
Mm,
So it's no wonder people are just up in their head. They're just churning, churning, churning in their brains.
yeah.
And unless you build in your opportunities to be active, you just don't. So there'll be
Yeah.
people who sit in the car thinking about traffic because it's very cognitively engaging, thinking about work, go back to their car, thinking, 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 and they're never actually feeling their body move.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's no surprise that people are
Mm,
in their heads and not in their bodies. Um, but yeah, I mean, how to explain? I think when you become disconnected from the feeling in your body, it's that
mm,
awareness. So, um, in lots of yoga books I've read about people who literally, if they lose the feeling of, like, for example, their thighs or their hips, like
mm,
things become quite dull. And then once you do a mind body practice, you become aware of the extremities and the muscles in different places that you've never really put any awareness to.
mm.
Um, and it just, yeah, it's really important in a proprioception way. So you being aware of everything going on in the body, you
Mm,
a become a bit you become okay with feeling discomfort. So
mhm,
you become very aware of which feelings are good discomfort. So it's like, oh, it's just my muscle being a bit tight. It's just that
mm.
being a bit achy and it's fine. And you practice that feeling of staying calm in the physical discomfort,
Yeah.
but not running away from that feeling. And then if you really work, the more you do this, the more aware of your body you become. And you do
Mm,
then notice when it's not good. So when there is a
mm.
sensation in your body that is like a warning sign of something that's not good, you'll
Yeah.
be more heightened to it. And you'll maybe catch something really early. So you'll
Mm,
be like, okay, that's not my usual sensation of discomfort. That's something else.
mm.
So this whole process just makes you more aware of your whole being, not just
Yeah.
what's going on in your brain and your
Yeah.
thoughts.
Yeah. And it's kind of important, isn't it? Because our body is significantly bigger to our than our heads. Like if you think
Yeah,
like our
yeah.
head is this bit, and then there's this whole thing down below and really incredibly functioning without that attachment and without
Mm.
that consciousness. You know, you think about the blood that's pumping around, the oxygen that's going around, and the way that it's holding you and moving you, all without you thinking, all
It's
without you
amazing.
thinking.
Yeah, and we should be so grateful. I think doing like a mind body practice will make you feel gratitude for all of that
Yes.
that's being done for you. And I guess another benefit of that is to really start to appreciate and love your body,
Mm,
whatever shape or size or capability it is.
mm,
You become connected and you just appreciate those parts of you more.
yes. And then what fascinates me is how when we do tap into that cognitive awareness, how much more effective could our body
Oh,
function?
yeah.
Like what
Yeah.
what could it if it's going to heal a cut without us needing to think about it? Well, if we thought about stuff, what else could we heal that we're not aware.
Yeah.
Like I find it really
Yeah,
fascinating.
and I guess when we
Really fascinating.
talk about healing, so there's so much science now showing the effect on the sympathetic nervous system.
Mm,
So it like lowers your fight or flight nervous
yeah.
state, which is the reason why it helps with the depression and the anxiety and
Mm,
all those things. How it helped me in the past, the deep breathing. The mindfulness, which is the being
mm,
aware of every sensation without any judgment, um, it just taps you into that safe nervous state where your body is like, I'm in a safe place. I'm going to send blood to the organs. I'm going to send blood to all the places that need nourishment, rather than if you're in the stressed zone, as you probably talk
mm.
about all the time, the blood just goes to the run away.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
doesn't go to digestion. It doesn't go to the immune system. So yeah,
Yeah.
if you're in that calm state, which a mind body practice always promotes,
Mm,
things like the immune system function better. Things
yeah.
like your lymph nodes are flowing because you're moving around. And so I think healing wise, it's only going to be positive for getting over colds and av- avoiding colds and, yeah,
Yeah.
healing the body wherever it needs to be healed.
Yeah. So good. So we've talked about some of the benefits of yoga and having that mind body connection. Now tell me some of the myths that you hear quite
Oh, yes.
often.
Yes. Well, we said a few benefits. There are also more. If you want to get into more, I could even say more. We've done the very
Yeah.
nervous system stuff. But myths, oh my God.
Mm,
I
let's
spend
go.
most of my life dispelling myths because, everyone hears yoga and they're like, "Oh, it's not for me. I'm not flexible." Or
Yeah.
they think of an image of someone meditating for hours and they think, "Oh, I
Mm,
can't possibly meditate. My brain's too busy. I'm not flexible enough. I'm not strong enough. My body's too big," or whatever. Um, all of those are myths. All of them.
mm,
The actual purpose is connection with your breath, and it's the mind body connection which helps you to calm your mind.
mhm.
And by calming your mind, we don't actually mean stopping the thoughts. Everyone
Yeah.
thinks, oh, but I can't possibly stop my thoughts.
Yeah.
Your thoughts never stop. And
Yeah.
that's not meant to happen. So
Yeah.
that's a myth. It's just becoming aware of the thoughts, isn't
Mm,
it? And
mm.
learning how to release judgment or release identification with all your thoughts. So that's a myth. Obviously, the flexibility. You don't have to do the splits. You don't have to do a handstand or a crazy back bend.
Yeah.
Fun fact, yoga, so hatha yoga, a lot of styles of yoga are based on hatha yoga. And so this was actually developed for young Indian boys.
Oh,
All
okay.
the physical postures.
Yeah.
So yoga goes way back, and actually, at its roots, it wasn't a physical practice at all. It was more the mind-body meditation piece.
Okay.
Later on, the physical poses came, which are
Mm,
also really beneficial, and they're like a gateway into meditation because it's easier to do movement than it is to sit down and meditate. So
yes.
the poses are like the stepping stone to
Mm.
calming, to joining mind and body, and then after you've done the poses, meditation is easier.
Oh, interesting.
But the initial poses were actually developed in India by a man called Krishnamacharya, and he was teaching. I think it was like in a palace, and it was young Indian boys, which are really flexible.
Yeah.
They can do just about anything. So a lot of poses nowadays aren't directly appropriate for our bodies. So you
Mm,
don't have to think, I have to be able to do lotus pose or this crazy back bend. And those poses weren't developed for our bodies as they are
mm.
now. In your age, with your ethnicity, with your life work pattern. So that's a nice myth or a nice fact to know
Yeah.
that if you see crazy poses, take it with a pinch of salt.
Mm,
It's still yoga if it's not that pose.
mm.
Um, and another one, sorry, I'm full of these.
Yeah. Go
If
for it.
you go to a yoga class or if you do yoga at home, I so often get people saying, how do I know if I'm doing it right? No one's looking at me. No one's correcting my pose.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it doesn't have to look like a picture.
Yeah.
Everyone's, say if you triangle pose with your legs kind of wide, you're kind of leaning over to the side with a straight back, trying to touch your leg, maybe your shin or your foot or the ground.
Mm.
Everyone's triangle pose looks different
Yeah.
and no one's is correct.
Yeah.
Everyone has a different version for their body, even at their dimensions. And on every single day, your pose might look different because of the
Mm.
state that your body is in that particular day. So if you are mindfully breathing and moving, that is yoga.
Yeah.
No matter what the pose looks like. And people are like, oh, but how do I know if I'm doing that right? And that I need to do it in the right. No, there is no right.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's just breath and movement and mindfulness.
Yeah.
Um, so that's a big one. Yeah.
Another one that I hear, I'm sure you've come across this, and I had this myself. Oh, well, I have to do it for hours. Like it
Oh,
has to be
yes.
at least an hour's practice for it to be beneficial. And then so then
Yes.
you don't do it at all. Whereas I found with my yoga practice, thanks to your app, actually,
Yay.
was just 10 minutes. Like just start with 10 minutes. And so now I am in a very regular habit. I can't say it's every day, but it's definitely 5 days out of seven,
That's
like
lovely.
non-negotiable. If I could do every day, I do every day, but
Yeah.
sometimes it just doesn't. But definitely at least 5 times. I start my morning with I drink my lemon water and then I just let my back warm up a little bit. So I don't go straight into stretching. I give myself like 20 minutes and then I do about 10 minutes of a yoga practice. And
That's
that has
perfect.
because I started small. I was like, right, I'm just going to do 5 minutes. And now I'm at 10 minutes. And if I didn't have to do the school run, I would maybe be looking at increasing it to 15 or 20 minutes. But actually, I really notice a difference when I don't do that practice now. My hips are
Yes.
more achy, my shoulders are more tense, and I'm like, it's only 10 minutes. But
Yes.
that connection and that movement, and I've, adjusted it to do things that I enjoy. It's really made a huge difference. So I think the other myth is this doesn't have to be like hours of,
Absolutely. That's the nail on the head. Bang.
yeah,
Definitely. It's the main thing keeping people back is
yeah,
I don't have an hour. Or you go
mm,
onto YouTube and you find like an hour's class.
yeah,
So yes, the way you're doing it is perfect.
mm,
Little and often
mm,
is much more beneficial than doing 1 hour class once a week.
yeah,
And by all means, if you can fit it in, do that hour as well.
of
That's
course.
lovely if you can go to a studio and you've got the social element. But if you could do 10 minutes every morning, even 5 minutes,
Mm,
I think it's the body's transition into that calm state.
yeah,
And so you're training your body to more quickly get into that state.
mm,
So if you do it frequently, your body can quickly switch into that mindful breathing movement
yeah,
zone. So yeah, it's frequent training. I mean, it would
yeah,
be the same for weights, for example.
yeah,
If you did 5 minutes of weights every morning, it would be better than doing an hour of weights once a week
yeah,
because it's that constant training. Whereas we're training the mind as well with yoga, but that would be just training the muscles
yeah.
constantly. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's
much
so
better.
beneficial. So if someone's listening and they're a working woman and maybe they've got kids and maybe their life is full, um, what would you, I mean, I think you've just answered it actually, but where would you suggest they started?
Yes. So picking a few. So I've deconstructed what I think is like the perfect session,
Hmm.
making it very small. So I always think take 5 or 10 minutes and you do it can like you, it could be in the morning, but it
Hmm.
could also be if you work from home and the kids are at school, do like a lunchtime thing.
Yeah,
Or if your biological clock is such that you are a night owl and you feel like you've got energy in the evening, I haven't. I'm like, whoa,
yeah,
I'm
me too.
dead. I'm
9:30, I'm like
dead.
done. Yeah,
But
yeah,
if you have energy then after the kids have gone to bed, but that's up to you.
yeah.
10 minutes to start with, and you start with a little warm up.
Mhm.
If you're a beginner, it could just be a little cat cow, hands on the ground, knees on the ground, arching your back and rounding with the breath. That could be your warm up. Or if you know the moves a bit better, you can warm up with a few sun salutations.
Yeah,
Um, you'll have to, if you don't know what that is, you'll have to look it up on YouTube or on my app.
yeah,
Um, just a few minutes of sun salutations or that. Then do some strength. I think everyone, this is another myth I'll talk about in a bit.
Yeah.
Strength is very important. So do a few like yoga squats or even with a weight, combining strength and
Mm.
yoga, and then do a posture opening pose. So I really like one called King Dancer. You might have to look it up, but it's you're standing up, one hand is in front, one hand is reaching behind you, grabbing a foot, and you kind of do like an archy back
Mhm.
standing pose. It's really good for opening up your posture. And after that, you lie on the ground and do some visualizations. And that keeps it really short. So you lie on the ground, you kind of hands on your belly, let your belly expand, and visualize this lovely golden light on the inside. It really
Mm.
brings you back to your inner true self.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a really short practice. It'll take 5 or 10 minutes. You can build it out from there. But those are the elements. So I'd say a warm up, strength, a posture opening, and then
Yeah.
some visualization to start with.
Oh, it sounds so
Don't do any
nice.
more. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then as you get into that, you're like, oh, this is curious. I'm seeing some
Yeah.
benefits. Maybe I want to do a little bit more.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
another myth I didn't
Yes.
say, it's flexibility is overrated.
Oh, tell me more.
Yes.
Yes.
People all want to become flexible. And you know what? Yes, mobility for daily life is great. If you
Mm.
can, reach up high to get stuff and you can squat down on the ground easily, sit cross-legged on the ground. But any flexibility beyond that is really overrated. Like,
Interesting.
being able to hold your leg up like a ballerina or do the splits, those things will actually only probably not be beneficial
Mm.
for your daily life. If you're a runner, you don't want super flexible hamstrings, for example, or calves. You want them to be mobile enough to do all the stuff that you do well.
Mm.
So rather than focusing on that flexibility, strength is so much more important. And you can
Yeah.
get strength from yoga. People often don't link that.
Yeah.
So yoga can, even if you're just using your body weight,
Mm.
really strengthen your back, your core, your legs, your shoulders. So I think when you're doing yoga, focusing on strength rather than flexibility.
Yes.
And the flexibility will just be the mobility is just a nice secondary outcome. It'll
Mm.
happen anyway, but you don't
Mm.
have to be like really aiming for the splits or aiming for crazy flexibility.
Yeah. So I'm purely asking for a friend here. But if someone's really into yoga and they're kind
Yeah.
of like, yeah, I've got the habit like me, 10 minutes in the morning. What when it comes to strength, have you got like three go-to poses that you think are the most impactful from a strength perspective?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So I already mentioned in my like quick 10-minute sequence the squats.
Yeah,
So, legs nice and wide, toes pointing like 45 degrees out. You can do it just with your body weight. But
yeah,
if you've done that a lot and you feel like this is easy for me, grab a kettlebell, grab some weights and do the just deep, deep, like sumo squats.
yeah,
Like really get like, your bum right down. Almost, if you can, you get your bum lower than your knees
yeah,
and then you squeeze back up either with your body weight or a kettlebell or other dumbbells.
yeah,
Super good for your bum muscles, your hamstrings, your thighs, all of it.
yeah,
Um, then we've got your very basic plank, uh, plank
yeah.
and side planks. And when you do plank, one thing that's important is try not to make a straight plank. Try to round your back a little bit. So you're
Mm,
really like almost hollowing out your chest. You're rounding your back. So really squeezing all the muscles at the front of the body. And when you do side plank, you want to actually make a side banana. So not a
okay.
straight. You want to kind of lift your rib cage up. So
Yeah.
there's a really good little base. Oh, my
Oh,
microphone come out. Headphones.
oh, we can still hear you.
There we go. I couldn't hear you. There we go. We're
Okay.
good. So those are your
We're
bread and
back.
butter. Another great one for the back, I would say, is a pose called locust pose.
Mhm.
You lie on your belly, you slide your hands down the mat, forehead down, legs together, and you just gently lift your chest up and your legs up at the same
Mm.
time. It's a really unimpressive pose. It's not going to win any Instagram competition.
Yeah, yeah.
And it doesn't even matter how high you get. So when I teach it, I say, don't focus on getting high with your chest and your legs, focusing on lengthening your whole spine from the top of your
Mm,
head to your toes. And it's amazing for strengthening the lower back and all the muscles along
mm.
the back. So what you've worked on with those poses is the back with the locust pose, the core and the shoulders with your planks and side planks, and your legs and your bum with a deep squat.
Squats. I've made notes.
Yes,
I've got
great.
sumo squats, plank, side plank, locus,
Yes, and
head
you're
and
good to
feet.
go. You're good to
I'm going to
go.
add those into my routine because it's interesting with strength, isn't it? I hear, every expert tells you have to drink water. It doesn't matter whether they're a nutritional
Mm.
therapist or a physiotherapist or they go keto or they go vegan. Everybody says drink water. And I feel it's the same with strength, whether it's Pilates, yoga, is the physio telling you, the chiropractor telling you, the doc, everybody is repeatedly saying
Yes,
strength, strength, strength. And so,
yes.
especially, so I'm in my gorgeous perimenopausal phase.
Mm.
So I'm 49 this year. And I just consistently hear strength, strength,
Yes,
strength.
especially for your face, especially.
Yeah.
So important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's trying to find a way of getting that into your life with it being such a huge hurdle to overcome because the
yeah,
part of your brain is never going to want to do it. So
yeah,
even now, I know the benefits of yoga. I always feel brilliant once I finished. Never does my brain actually want to do it. There's always a
yeah,
teenage huff attached
yeah.
to it.
Well, same here. And I'm a
Yeah.
yoga teacher, and same
Yeah.
here.
And
Yeah,
it's crazy. And this is the thing. Everybody thinks their brain is it's only their brain that does it. I'm like, no, no, no. This is
yeah,
the human part of the human
yeah,
brain. It never wants to expel that energy, which
yeah.
is why consciously we have to remind it, no, this is the greater good. This
Yes,
is for the long-term
yes. And
benefits.
you have to not believe your own thoughts. I
Exactly.
think you've got to
Yes.
go against. And one lovely thing about yoga philosophy is there's this notion of the koshas, which is layers of the being that is you.
Oh,
So you get the outermost layer is I forget the order, the physical body,
okay.
or maybe you get the energy body first, and then there's the physical body, and then the thoughts, and then there's the emotions. And on the inside, there is your bliss body or purusha in Sanskrit, and it's like the inner essence of you. And that inner
Yeah.
essence is not your thoughts or your emotions or your
Yes.
physical body. Um, and so that inner essence needs to guide your actions. And you can say
Mm,
to that thought layer, like, no, no, no. I know these thoughts exist, but you know, um, and that's why I say when you do the visualization, you lie down and you visualize this beautiful golden light in your chest or your head or your belly,
yeah.
connecting with that and disassociating from the thoughts and the emotions
Mm.
that usually aren't correct, are they?
Yeah. No, no. I've just recorded, just this morning, I recorded my 100th episode.
Ah,
So it's coming
congratulations!
out next week. So that, well, depending on it won't be next week. That's coming out on the when's that coming out? I can't remember the dates. So this one will be coming out a couple of weeks after that. So with so I think that one's coming out February the 11th, something like
Mm,
that. So
yeah,
this one will be episode 102.
102. Exciting.
So, but what I was saying I was trying to come up with for the 100th episode, I wanted something really grand and really celebratory. But I was like, actually, the biggest message that I think people need to hear is we have a choice, and that
Yes.
choice can be not to listen to that
Yes.
negative part of our brain. And so, as you're thinking about doing your yoga exercise, and you just want to start in even if it's just 5 minutes, even if it's 1 minute, even if your yoga just looks like, right, I'm just going to sit here and breathe for
Yeah.
1 minute. I'm going to put the
Breathe
timer
and
on.
do some neck rolls or something,
Yeah,
like side to
just
side, just
yes,
mobilize. Yeah.
exactly that. 1 minute. Start there, celebrate that massively when you have done it, but your brain's still not going to want to do that 1 minute. But
Yes.
that's the choice. It's okay. Do I follow that part of me that's never going to want to do it? Or do I choose to follow like you were saying, that deep essence, that knowing that actually
Yeah.
this is going to be really beneficial?
Yeah.
That's the choice that you get to make in that moment.
And the more you do it, the more you become connected to that deeper inner
Yes.
you, and the
Yes.
easier that becomes. I think the
Yeah.
more connected you are to that self.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think maybe a little practical tip is to anticipate.
Yes.
the resistance. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to do it in the morning. I know my brain's going to be like, no, I want to stay in bed,
Yeah.
or I'm going to do it at lunchtime, and my brain's going to be like, no, I just want to sit and have my lunch,
Yeah.
and anticipating that. And then when it comes, you're like, aha,
Ah.
I see you.
Yeah. I was
You're there.
expecting you. Yeah. Of course you're here.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
so tough. I have this at the moment in the week. I can get to do my yoga practice only when baby Daisy naps.
Mm.
And oh my God, I'm tired then. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I just want a nap.
Yeah.
I drag myself to my mat and I like shove all the toys out to the side.
Yeah.
I'm like, ah. But like, yeah, I tell my brain, you're doing this
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah.
And I know at the end, I'm going to be happy that I've done it.
Yes. Exactly. It's
Yeah.
always that, isn't it? It is
Yeah.
always that.
That brings me to one more myth. Sorry to
Yes.
interrupt.
Go. No, go for it. Yeah.
Before I forget, it's the main message I want to bring people. It's do everything amid the mess.
Yes.
Because so often I hear people say, yeah, I really want to start my fitness routine or my yoga routine, but I'm going to tidy the spare room first. I'm going to
Yeah.
create my lovely yoga zone. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's never going to happen.
Yeah. 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 Lush. If you've
Lovely
got time to
thoughts,
clear,
but
light some
yeah,
candles,
yeah.
or you could do it in the middle of the
Just do it today,
kitchen.
tonight.
Yeah.
Shove away the mess. Because the thing is, with yoga, you're focusing inwards.
Mm.
So all the mess just fades into the background anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Close your
you
eyes and it's disappeared.
have enough space for your mat.
Yeah.
You know, seriously, you should see the mess I practice in.
Yeah.
That's the only way it happens.
Exactly.
Wait for
It's
your house to be perfect and tidy, and it will just never happen.
yes, exactly. And I
Yeah.
think that's a really key point, isn't it? People are trying to do things too perfectly. Just do it
Yes,
messy.
absolutely.
Do it messy. Like the triangle, hold it messy.
Yeah, yeah,
The toy, push the toys aside. Get the like, close the door if the dog's gonna interfere. Like it doesn't matter what it is.
yeah, yeah.
Giving yourself permission to create that space for yourself, even if it is only 5 minutes in the middle of the toys.
Yes.
Close your eyes, focus inward, connect with your essence,
Yeah.
and just start there.
Yeah. And even if the first many times you try, it's not even like a chilled zone, even
Mm,
if you can't get any distance from your young family, let
yes.
them watch something on the sofa and you do your little 5 minute, 10-minute practice. And even if you feel like I'm not getting into the chill zone here,
Mm,
that's fine. For that
yes.
moment,
Yeah.
you've done the best you can. You've done the
Yes.
movements, you've put in the effort and the practice. With practice, the chill zone will come,
Yeah.
even if there's craziness going on around you.
Yeah. I think that's a really important point, actually, especially to begin with. It is about doing it uncomfortably, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Because, it's gonna take time to train yourself not to engage with those thoughts. So when you first start,
Yes.
there is a tension attached to trying not to engage, and that's normal, and that's the lesson, isn't it? That is the learning. You are learning how to disassociate from
Yes.
your thinking, and to
Yep.
begin with, that's not going to be comfortable.
Yeah. Well, to disassociate or just not place attachment to it.
Yes.
So you're
Yeah.
associated in that you are observing your thoughts, you're aware of it all happening,
Yeah.
but not kind of placing too much importance
Yeah.
on the thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like having a radio on in the background, isn't it? You can hear the radio in the background, but you don't necessarily connect with what the presenters are speaking or the words that are being sung or whatever.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing with your mind, isn't it? You're just like, oh, it's there in the background
Yeah, because your attention is on the sensations in your
in
body.
your body. Yes.
So you're
Yeah.
feeling, oh, what are my ankles doing? What are my thighs doing? What are my shoulders doing? And all of that
Yeah.
takes up the bandwidth in your brain that the chatter just fades a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. So before we wrap up our conversation today, Lilanthe, is there anything that we haven't spoke about that you think is relevant?
Well, you reminded me about another myth
Yeah.
because there's
Endless.
endless
Yes.
myths. So often people have said, oh yeah, but yoga is so uncomfortable. Like it
Mm,
physically hurts my body a little bit. Like people go into it thinking this is going to be a really enjoyable spa session. And
mm.
it's like, no, 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 we're not going to the spa. This is
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
work. And part of the training of yoga is to allow yourself to train yourself to stay calm and really in that parasympathetic nervous system, which is the relaxed one, even if you're in physical discomfort. So you
Mm.
will feel physical discomfort. Stretching can be uncomfortable. If you've got really tight hips, doing a hip opener feels really uncomfortable. That doesn't
Mm.
mean it's bad for you. It's good for
Yeah.
you. And you're training yourself to stay calm. And then slowly, 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 softly catch a monkey,
Yeah.
your body will release and feel, okay, I'm safe. I can
Yeah.
release. So if you're a newbie and you go into yoga class thinking it's going to be this amazing, chilled out spa experience,
Yeah.
you'll be disappointed. And
Yeah.
that's what and people need to toughen up a little bit. If you want the
Yeah.
benefits, and there's so many benefits, but you need to get a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah. And it's exactly the same with emotional resilience. We
Mm,
don't become resilient and strong because we avoid our emotions. We become
yes.
resilient and strong because we sit with the discomfort, the uncomfortable ones, and realize it's harmless. And it's exactly the same with physical. Now,
Yes.
obviously you don't want to put yourself in actual torturous physical because I guess
Yes.
there's a difference
There's a
between
line. Yes.
there's also you don't want to do yourself damage,
Yeah.
but that discomfort of the stretch or the tension, and that's what makes us stronger.
Yes, and I think that's where the real self-awareness comes in that I
Yeah.
talked about right at the beginning. You'll become aware of when a sensation is purely a sensation of
Mm.
stiffness or weakness, or when it's like a real twinge and you're like, no, 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 this is
Yeah,
not good for
that's
me. So
yes.
you become aware of your body and you'll know when to
Mm.
hold back. And you'll have that autonomy. A good teacher should always say, you listen to what's right for you. You don't have to follow every pose. Do
Yeah.
less if you want to do less today.
Yeah.
You take it in the way that suits you if you're connected with your body.
Yeah, so good. So you've got your app. We've said about the app a couple of times. So wherever you are in the
Yeah.
world, if you kind of like know Lelanthe's energy and her style, tell us about the app.
Thank you. Well, it is, I don't know when this is coming out, but I'm currently going through a rebrand process.
Ooh, okay.
So the old name was Bendy Life Yoga,
Hmm.
the current name as we are today.
Yeah.
But I realized from everything I've been speaking about, my main messages actually say that it's got nothing to do with bendiness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why was I using this word? So my new name is going to be Amid the Mess Yoga because it's
Nice.
all about doing it amid the mess and chaos of your life, as
Yes.
short and as imperfectly as needs to be. So I have a huge library of lots of little tiny classes,
Mm.
like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, a few longer ones as well, some focused on posture, relaxation, strength, all the types of things, prenatal as well there. Um, yeah, and it's an online app. You can just go to my website, which I'm sure you'll link below.
Yes, we'll put all the
You can
links.
have a look at some freebies that are there, just as if you see if you like my style,
Mm.
and then go on from there if you like.
Yeah, brilliant. And for people that are geographically close to you, do you do in-person yoga now
I do,
classes?
excuse me, I do one in person in Corsham, which is in Wiltshire.
Yeah,
So on a Tuesday evening, I do that. Currently, it's just because of the phase of life I'm in with the
yeah,
young children, the bedtimes.
yeah,
So once a week is enough at this phase.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you are if you happen to be in Wiltshire and you're listening to this and you're close to
Mm,
Corsham,
yeah.
then you can always, what time is that?
7 to 8.
On which day did you say?
Tuesdays,
Tuesday.
7 to 8 p.m. And it's in a town hall. It's a huge space, but really warm. And it's got
Nice.
twinkly lights. It's this
Oh,
magical
pretty.
yoga space. So
Yeah.
if anyone's in North Wiltshire, I do recommend give me a shout.
Yeah, so good. But we will put all of your links in the show notes
Thank
below.
you. Thank you. And then,
So,
like I said, there's free stuff. If someone wants to just dip their toe in,
mm,
sign on to the free one. Absolutely fine.
yeah, and they are really and it was you that got me into doing um
Yay.
the shorter the shorter class
Practices.
practices. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So
Oh, that
so
makes me so
good.
happy to hear that I've impacted your life that way.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
wonderful.
yeah. No, it was
Yeah.
brilliant. Thank you so much. Well, it's been so lovely to have this conversation today. Thank you so much for joining me. I think
Oh, thank
I
you.
hopefully the people listening will find it really valuable and just inspire them to take some action, even if it's a
Yes.
minute, even if it's 5 minutes, just start there. And then,
Especially if they are a beginner.
yes,
It's because that's the most barriers people have is if they've never done it before and they're so intimidated to go to a
mm,
class or they think, oh no, I'm just not flexible. I can't do this.
yeah,
Especially then is really, really beneficial. And for the most stressed of us who think,
mm,
oh, my mind's way too frantic for yoga,
yeah,
you will have the most benefit from it.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. In amongst all the mess. I love that new
Oh,
name.
yes.
Yes, love it. Thank you so much for joining me and everybody else. I'll see you next week. Bye.